Hello there, everybody. This is Dana solo. It's a little scary. My partner in crime, David Spade, is flying right now. He's flying to Singapore today to do a corporate date. No, I made that up. But anyway, I'll give you a little taste of him if you miss him. Blue. Everybody's like, wah, 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 wah. Anyway, that's my David Spade. Our guest today, when David is on the interview, was really a blast. We put him in one of our favorites, Ike Barinholtz, who was on MADtv for like 7 years, I think, did all these characters. He's got a big resume, the Mindy Project, and currently running point on Netflix with Kate Hudson, Chet Hanks, that's pretty cool, Justin Theroux. So we go through all those shows. We go through his career. He has a Nepo dad. You'll find out about that. And he is sort of a brainiac. He's won Celebrity Jeopardy and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and raised literally millions for charity. So very fun, a hard laugher, came to play. So I think this one will cheer you up for sure. Ike Barinholtz, everybody.
I can't wait for the 50th anniversary of this podcast.
I skipped the SNL 50th, man. Had something to do.
Wait, were you? I was wondering. You must have had the flu or something.
Yeah, I had the flu that was lingering, so I was kind of by the day of the show, I felt great, but I was 3,000 miles away.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, when I had to make the call, I was like, I don't have the oomph, and
Yeah, no.
Garth,
if he doesn't have the oomph, we don't want him.
Marcy, look up oomph. No, it's a Scandinavian word for laissez-faire, I believe.
For laissez-faire.
Did you audition for SNL? We don't have any outline, but you have a lot to talk about. So
I did not audition for SNL when in 1998. I remember people from NBC came to Improv Olympic to watch. To scout. And I remember
that.
Oh my God. And it was the worst too, because the owner, God bless her, Sharna, she invited 50 of us to go on stage at once. So everyone was you're pushing people aside to
Subway
do a
scene.
character. Yeah.
Trying to
my
upstage,
God.
how sickening.
Yeah, it was just reprehensible. But so then I moved to Amsterdam for a couple of years. And then when I came back, I was like, I want to do SNL. But before SNL, I even auditioned. I got cast on MADtv. And so I was kind of there.
Basically the same thing. So you're on doing sketches, and you stayed there a long time, though, right? Are you one of the longest?
I was there. No.
There's different versions online, by the way. The last one I got before this was 2002 to 2007.
That's right. That is accurate.
There was others 2009 to 2000.
It's a very important information, so it's natural there's going to be discrepancies online about it.
Mine says 1886 to. It's got to be wrong.
Oh man, I did an amazing impression of Rutherford B. Hayes that really got me cast on it.
That guy gets literally no press.
I do him too, by the way. I've done him. Just
you did Rutherford Hayes.
Give me a second.
Now we need the Rothschilds.
I'm Ruther P. Hayes.
Ruther P.
President of this here United States. I don't say it's accurate, but
you can't fight it.
It's the stab. I'm Rutherford. So were you did that disappoint you at all that you weren't on SNL, or you were just glad to be on a sketch show every week getting paid?
My dream was to always be on SNL. We grew up in a very SNL heavy home. Some of my earliest memories are watching Eddie Murphy. The 83 year with Billy Crystal and stuff.
Yeah.
So we were obsessed with it in our house. And when you're in the comedy scene, especially the improv scene in Chicago in the 90s, that's your goal. But listen, man, I was bussing tables at Morton's on La Cienega, and
I know the restaurant.
I've been there so many times.
It's no longer there, sadly.
Bus boy.
I was a
bus boy. We've all been bus boys.
The hardest job in the world, bussing tables. It's so hard. Especially there because there's like so many famous people, and you're like kind of like starstruck. Like one time I saw Pete Rose there and I was so excited, and I walked past him and he grabbed my arm and he goes, "Hey, give my wife a Diet Coke. Get out of here." And I was like, "Oh, okay.
Get out of here that fast." Jesus.
And you said, hey, Pete, I just won $20. I promise that guy you would say, "Get my wife a Diet Coke."
I bet you can't finish that ribeye, Charlie.
Oh boy.
But it was to get an offer to be on a TV show, especially a sketch comedy show, was just a dream. So I was just kind of like, great, let's do it. And there was really great writers there, some great
a lot of great people came out of it. You were with Bobby Lee around then too. He's funny. I see him.
Oh, my friend. I know you're friends with Bobby. You've been friends with Bobby for a very long time.
We're business acquaintances, yes.
And Josh Myers, Zeth's
the great
brother,
Josh
right?
Myers.
Yeah,
Josh Myers and Michael McDonald was still there. Jordan Peele and Keegan Michael Key came while we were there. Nicole Parker.
You did have a big fat cast at that time.
Yeah, we had a big fat cast.
Dude, I like that when I look at your impressions. When does Bo Bice impression come up these days? Not as much as before.
Yeah, you have some quirky impressions. Can we get the off-label obscure
Carrie Underwood, right? Is that him?
Rutherford B. Hayes.
Bo Bice. Oh my God. I mean, I'm still doing it a lot, obviously. I shouldn't say this, but I feel like Bo Bice, if you told me he stormed the Capitol, I'd be like, yeah.
Bo was just typecast.
But yeah, MADtv definitely did a lot of impressions of the moment.
Of course. So, we got stuck with that too. It's like whoever that week, like go around the room, can you cover this one? And you just have to work on something close.
Was there ever one that you guys were like bummed that you're like, this is a bad impression, I don't want to do it?
Oh, they're so super hard.
Usually during the primary seasons politically, they'd say, you're John Lickwick from Pennsylvania Circuit 4. And then you look at the impression like, "Hi, I'm John Lickwick." And there's no hook.
Nothing.
And, and then Lauren would say, "Are you ever going to get Representative John Licknick?" And I said, "No." Sometimes I said, "Lauren, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen." But the key to impressions, if you can't do it, just say the name of who you're doing right at the get-go.
Oh, yeah.
That's
John
it.
Licknick.
I'm John Licknick, and they don't know. But what was your best one? I'm just curious that you thought was the most accurate, because I saw you did Arnold.
But my Arnold was not great, especially that was a huge bummer because Will Sasso was on the show. I really kind of replaced him, and he did the funniest Arnold.
Oh,
so then I had to come in and do my kind of half-baked one that wasn't that great, and it wasn't funny, and it wasn't as good as Will's.
It.
Well, it's already good.
But Will's was like a tour de force.
Yeah.
I kind of look like Mark Wahlberg, so I sometimes do a Mark Wahlberg. Come in, sit down. Maybe I'll give you a knuckle sandwich if you're lucky.
Yeah, that's it.
That was kind of, but there was a lot of times too where I would just I remember one time I got assigned, they were doing a Frasier parody. And the writer's like, "You're going to play John Mahoney, who was the father on Frasier, who's a great actor."
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't play. He's like an older man. Yeah. And I remember sitting in, we did a lot of prosthetic makeup on MADtv, like I think more than SNL. And I remember sitting in makeup for like 2 hours as they're aging me. And I was complaining so much, and I was on set, and I only had like 3 lines. And one of them was, "I'm John Mahoney." And I complained so much that they cut down my lines where I only said that in the sketch. And it was just because I complained so much.
5 hours of prosthetic makeup, 6 hours to get it off.
Getting it off when they put that like alcohol directly in your eyeball, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry, it's almost done."
I'm such a colossal puss when I do movies, and they're like, or SNL even. But you hear about these people that are in makeup chair for 9 hours a day. I'm like, well, when are you shooting? God. Like you shoot half a scene and then go home and undo it all. Like you're only legally allowed to shoot so long, and you get all this shit on to look like the Blob, and then or the Penguin. I would just say I'm going to sleep as the Penguin, guys.
Right. We'll
give you a head start tomorrow.
In the morning.
Exactly. Who's the guy who plays the Penguin now? A nice looking movie star.
Farrell.
Yeah, and it's like he's Hey, some agent somewhere's going, you're throwing away your good looks. You got good looks. You're behind rubber. I can't monetize this, kid.
Yeah.
But so
he got enough good looking parts. Now he just won something for the Penguins. So
I want to actually come up with a lit cigar at some point. It's a magic trick.
Well, I know you're. But, I know you from your Rafael Palmero. I like they bother putting that in your Wikipedia.
What the hell is a Rafael Palmero?
I think it's a baseball player.
He was a baseball player for the Texas Rangers, and he was like a big steroid guy, and he kind of famously went in front of Congress and was like, I did not take steroids.
Oh, right.
So we did like a parody called like, oops, I just took steroids or something. I can't remember what it was, but that was another impression that I still am getting a lot of love for. People are constantly asking me to do.
Oh, really?
A baseball player who retired in 1996.
Well, did they do the thing like, because I noticed when the Mark McGuire and those went up to Congress that they were so roided up. By the time they got to Congress, they didn't bother to buy fitted suits. So like they got little pencil necks and giant suits, and it was so obvious.
Bursting through.
Gigantic suits.
I'm totally natural.
Look like David Byrne.
I'm wearing a 52 large. Yeah. And now I weigh 160 pounds, but I'm telling you, I did nothing. That 290 I put on. But
I know my head is 3 times the size of a normal man's. Yes. I know that, Senator Lupnick.
I have a huge jaw and forearms for no reason.
I love the callbacks. It was representative, but
well, it was your character. I loved it. Well, he became a senator. He became a senator.
I'm going to run with it. So you did a lot of work before you got on MADtv, and you went to Amsterdam for 2. Who went with you to Amsterdam?
Yeah. So I was there. So there was a theater that a bunch of the dudes in Chicago started, because like Dutch comedy back in the day was very...
Josh Myers, right?
Josh Myers was there. Seth Meyers was there, and I kind of came in right after him. But I was there with Brendan Hunt, who I don't know if you guys watched Ted Lasso. He's Coach.
Oh,
Beard.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that guy.
Yeah. And then, I was there for about 2 years, and we had great people come through. Sudeikis came through there for a year.
Sudeikis.
Jordan Peele. Sudeikis was there. Jordan Peele. Liz Kakowski. Kay Cannon, who directed me in Blockers. Amber Ruffin. Just all these really, really funny people. And it was a really fun time, too, because it was before 9/11, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't even the Euro yet. It was the Guilder.
Yeah.
So it was really nice. And I still talk to a lot of the sex workers I befriended while I was there. We still keep in touch.
Sex workers, okay.
Dutch accent is tricky, but the Myers brothers, Josh and Seth, didn't they live there in high school or something? They have a big affinity for it. I believe.
they just really, like, Josh kind of went native for a while and dated like a Dutch woman for a long time. And yeah, the Dutch people as a people, they're very like reserved. They're very honest. Like they would come up to you after the show and be like, I did not think you were the funniest one. I thought your black friend was funnier. But the song about sex was very good as well. So congratulations and goodbye. And you're like, thank you.
And goodbye.
If I had $1 for every time my wife said that, because she's half Dutch. Her dad was Dutch. And she says,
oh, yeah.
I listened to the podcast, and Ike was a terrific guest. You were not at a 10.
You were a little bit late there. I don't know why you were late.
The Representative Lutnick comeback was very entertaining. I'll see you at dinner time, bitch. I go, bitch. Why do you have to say bitch?
That's unacceptable.
So when did you start feeling like, just either as a kid or high school, like, I think I should do this, I'm good at this? Because on your Wikipedia page, it said, considered to be a lawyer or a politician.
Okay.
Yeah, growing up.
Okay.
Yeah, growing up in Chicago. I mean, my goal was Representative Lutnick when I was a child, but as I got older, I went to college, and I knew I didn't want to be in politics. I was a terrible student in college. Mm-hmm. And I kind of eventually got kicked out of college because I stopped going to class. And I was drawn to acting, and I was drawn to comedy, but I didn't know where to start. And my dad took us to see the Improv Olympics. I think like maybe their 15-year anniversary or their 10-year anniversary. And I saw improv for the first time, and I saw Adam McKay, and I saw Amy Poehler, and specifically the person who made me laugh so hard that I was like, I need to do this was Tim Meadows.
Great.
Like
Great.
he is to me
Yeah.
like one of just the funniest people in the world. And
Absolutely.
and watching him on stage just kind of enter a scene and make a random joke and got such a big laugh. I was like, oh, I'm signing up for improv classes. I got to do this. So that was that. I was like 18 at the time, and I really kind of jumped all in. It was so much fun.
And you're 18 at that point, and how old were you when you got MADtv? Was that kind of your biggest break, and then you went from there?
That was my first break. Yeah, I got MADtv. I was probably 25-ish.
Yeah, okay.
Wow. And it was great. I was making that late night money, which when you're broke, you're like,
any money.
I'm basically Steve Jobs. And then as you learn, you're like, oh, late night money is terrible. It's not in the grand scheme of showbiz, acting.
Yeah.
It's not.
But you're on a job. You worked with Del Close. Yeah. That was Farley's guy. He used to talk about a lot.
Yeah, man. I hung out with Farley a couple times.
Oh, good.
I gotta meet him a couple times. And he was like my idol, like I loved him so much. And I remember one time he came, I was a busboy at Second City. And I remember he would come in once in a while, and he was always so nice.
You're gonna finish that bread.
He was Midwest nice.
Midwest, Wisconsin nice.
Wisconsin nice. Yeah.
And one night he came up to me and was like, hey, where Johnny is, his brother Johnny.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, he's at this party on Lincoln. And he's like, you want to go? Can you take me there? And I'll never forget. Like I turned to my
really. So he says that. Okay, go ahead. Finish this story.
So I turned to my friend, my buddy Brian from high school. It's like, hey,
I quit.
Can you take me and Chris Farley to this party? And he was like, what? And we went there, and I remember we parked, and we're walking right under the L tracks, train tracks. And Chris is like, I gotta pee. And I was like, I gotta pee too. And we started peeing. And I remember he turns to me and he goes, you want to play swords?
Like sword fight.
Strings. And I was like, yeah. And I kind of turn, and we're kind of, mixing our urine.
Right.
And he just kind of turns and just sees kind of on my foot. He goes, I cut your foot off.
So what?
I remember laughing so hard I couldn't metabolize what was happening.
David, you knew Chris well. Did you ever sword fight with him?
Story
Did
checks
you guys
out.
sword fight?
But yes, that sounds like classic buffoonery.
I think I'm not just saying this because I'm on this podcast right now. I think this weekend we're going to show. I have 3 daughters from 6 to 12, and I think we're going to show them Tommy Boy this weekend.
It's a 30th anniversary. I heard. Oof. Maybe 20th.
That's a bummer when you. I heard it's the 15th. Actually, it just came out.
I would never say anything higher than 15. That sounds sickening. I don't know. I can't believe I've been around 30 years to do anything. Like, oh, gross.
You look really good though, man. Like you're really hanging on. Like it's a lot of people like they get smashed by the wall, but you're looking good.
Unbelievable.
Look at this. Thank you, buddy. Look at this.
You're
shit.
welcome.
I got my new sweater on. I'm trying to zhuzh it up for you.
Yeah, it's good. It's the beard. It's very good. It's working.
Oh yeah.
Tommy Boy is pretty much surefire, I think, for your kids.
I hope, yeah.
It is. I'll probably just hit a quick fast forward on the scene where you're.
Oh, that's right. Sometimes they take that out of when it's on TV and stuff, and I never knew that. And I'm like, oh, there's a couple of things they just pull out of movies where you're like, oh,
yeah.
So some people never see that part.
Yeah, if you're watching it on TBS, that's not in there. But we're going to go ahead and pay the Apple TV buy and purchase it. So you'll probably be getting a little check in the mail. You're welcome.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a competition, but if something doesn't work out or it doesn't quite fly, you pop in Wayne's World 1 or 2, but it's not a competition. No. I'm just saying, I love Tommy Boy. I think it's a classic. But if it doesn't work out, you're like, what do we do? Well, let's not surf the web or go on Instagram. Let's put in.
I have been pitched Tommy Boy 2, and I'm telling you, I always go, you have heard the news about Farley, and they're like, yeah, but it would still, and I'm like, it would still be
Can't
what?
do it without Chris.
It would still be what? I mean, you don't think that was 99% of them? They're like, it's about, and I'm like, oh, it's just a good solid brake pad movie.
Do they push back at the co-star who knew Chris better than anybody?
I said, well, I can't do it. You can get someone else.
Yes, Ike.
I think it's a prequel where you go back to the founding of Callahan Auto Parts.
Oh, okay.
And you have basically someone playing like
young
Brian Dennehy.
You go way back. Okay.
You go way back. Yeah. So this is way before Chris. So really what you're looking for,
100
instead of looking
that.
for a modern day Chris Farley, which is impossible, you find a modern day Brian Dennehy,
young Brian
which
Dennehy.
I think is doable.
Okay.
I think that is doable.
Okay.
That's interesting because looking at all your stuff, you're a writer,
right?
Is a real writer, not a comedian who I'll
not
get in
some
the
bullshit.
Room, you know? And you're a co-producer, co-writer of your current project.
Now, how do you say it, Dana?
Now, I'd say that's the best pitch for a Farley that I've heard for a Tommy Boy sequel. You slap on executive producer, you do a cameo like Stallone in Staying Alive with Travolta, and you do that little turn. And it's David Spade, and then you walk. Yeah, boom, boom. So much boom's coming.
That's all I'm.
Do you like money? Do you like money? Do you like dollar bills?
You like money?
We're asked that a lot by our agents and managers. I don't think I want to fly to Malaysia for a one-nighter. Guess you don't like money. Guess you don't like money. Well, do you want to go with
likes
me?
Money.
That'd be
Do you want to do impressions of Joe Biden for the Saudi royal family? I don't.
Well, that, because they don't care what they pay. No tax. We pay the tax. We paid this shitbox golfer $400 million. He can't make a putt.
My friend, you are going to go home with this lion.
Yes.
It will fly with you on the plane. It's
we kill you on the way back to the airport, so we get it all back.
The key to that is my friend. That's it.
My friend.
My friend, listen to me, my friend. We are going to make you so rich if you want to be rich. And I'm from Denver. I just adopted this accent by watching too much Alabarsi television.
Too much.
All right, go ahead.
Running Point. Now, I have heard it both ways. Like, I think it's Running Point, and people say Running Point.
I thought it was the Mediocre Rascals. Wasn't that the name of it?
That was the name we tried to get.
The Mediocre Rascals. I decided to be.
The Little Rascals own any rascal.
Right. And Eddie Murphy would have a bone to pick.
Yeah. Luckily, we get involved. It's whatever you want it to be. You could say Running Point. You could say Running Point. You could say Running Point.
Yeah. Because there is something when people go, you're going to run point on this job or whatever on this client.
Right.
So I call it Running Point, and no one else does. And
I call it "What's the point?" No. I was just gonna say,
funny.
Okay, I got to put this in. I'm gonna watch it on Netflix. I watched the pilot.
It's a VCR. All right,
I'm from
pop it in.
From the '80s. I mime it even if I'm clicking on digital. And you guys nailed it. There's a genre of that kind of workplace fun, single camera. And I honestly was thinking to myself last night, I don't feel like these people are acting; they're having fun. So whatever you're renewed for a second season.
Yeah.
We got my sources told me we were picked up for another season.
But you do something. You're part of putting it together, or is this?
You're an executive producer with Mindy Cowan.
Yeah. Mindy came to my partner Dave Fasten and I and was like, "You guys love basketball. We work together the Mindy Project. We have this show that I think could be a funny kind of family business show at a basketball club." And we loved her. We had such a fun time working with her. It had been a while, and we had just finished up a thing. And so we kind of spent a long time kind of breaking the show and what it could be. And we kind of, it became very, very real when Kate Hudson was like, "I want to play this part." Cause that was like, wow, that's a real no fooling movie star.
Yeah.
She's fantastic in it. And you got Justin Theroux too, who's just too cool for school.
Friend of the show.
He's so cool. Friend of the show. Yeah. He's my best dressed friend.
He does dress cool.
Yeah, and it's just like I think he has clothes that are like all bespoke, like little leather
Bespoke.
jackets that like are only made for him.
His
Can I
apartment's
throw
a
something-
speakeasy.
Can I throw something about this has been a thing that I've talked. We talked to Justin about it. I just have a thing that like he would be the perfect guy in a Rod Serling biopic,
Oh my God, he looks so much like him.
and
He
could
really
play
does.
that vibe. But
There
I
is
don't.
a
It doesn't
fifth
have to
dimension.
happen. But I just picture if you will,
Picture, if you will.
like
Picture, if you will,
He did night
Ike
galleries.
Barinholtz.
a tiny leather jacket that I'm wearing.
Picture, if you will, Dracker cologne.
Well, I love that he's so polite.
I can't think of the other stuff.
Instead of think of this was the first thing. Think of this. Then he said, picture if you will. I watched 2 episodes of Twilight Zone yesterday.
Which one?
Wally Cox with the first AI woman that falls in love with him.
Wally Cox from an old TV show. What? Hollywood Squares.
Marlon Brando's best friend, by the way.
They would like have sex with the same
Excuse me.
woman at the same time. They were like very famously like Coxmen together.
He was on that
if
show,
I'm not mistaken.
Escabros. You know,
Wally Cox
was
a
on
Coxman.
Wally Cox was on
What did you say? Because I want to laugh.
Escabros.
Eskimo.
Eskimo Brothers. But Wally Cox was the bottom left square when I was a kid on Hollywood Squares. And I had no idea he was an Escabro with all these famous people. I just thought he and Paul Lynde were funny, you know. So
that's tremendous.
Smells like pussy in here, I think. Yeah.
Smells like that was repeated on our podcast.
But anyway, to get it in again.
Back to your show, Scared Straight. What? So you get Goldie Hawn's daughter,
Get Katie and
Katie Hudson, who I think is tremendous,
amazing, and it's so much like so fun. Like stories about like her stories are so crazy. You know, like oh yeah, you know it's my birthday and. Oh, it was crazy. Like Paul McCartney, you know, was there. And at one point he looked over to Barack Obama and told him this.
Jesus.
And I like when people tell you those stories, I'm like, what do I have?
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, really?
You're like, this was all at Pizza Hut?
One time Bobby Lee and I went to Las Vegas together. Like,
that's your story.
What are my
And we couldn't find his pubes.
Wow.
So he couldn't go on that night.
I've seen Bobby Lee naked more often than I've seen my own wife naked. So I've seen him naked 3 times.
Plot thickening.
Bobby is hilarious.
He is one of the all-time funniest.
He's got a very funny thing about him.
He's got a great burn. He acts real serious and just looks over.
Stares. I like when he stops.
And he does the death stare.
In his podcast.
And you know he's loaded up with something.
Every other comment is racist, and he just stares at them.
And he doesn't say anything.
Yes, I'm going to leave.
No,
I think I'm going to take off.
Yeah.
That's funny. By the way, Dana, on a side note, you don't have to listen. When I was golfing with Lovitz the other day, I burned him because we were on the green and he was blabbing away and I was walking the other side of the green. And I go, oh, you're cutting out. And I've never used it in real life before, but it was good with Lovitz because he goes, I take offense to that, and I'm sorry about your attitude. And then, but it was funny to say he's cutting out in real life. Laughed at my own joke, then laughed at his. All right, go ahead. Back to this guy.
Some people say you're cutting out on me. You're cutting out on me. I have a brother who says that to me. You're cutting out on me. Well, I'm not doing it intentionally, bitch.
Oh, yeah, they're mad at you.
Affectionate.
Hey, you're cutting out.
You're cutting out on me. It's not, what? So the show's a smash.
Show is
And
picked up, which is
I
good
thought
sign.
you're in it a little bit, or where are you as an actor?
No,
in this?
I'm not in it. I just kind of wrote it and was there while we were shooting it. My dad is in it. My dad is an actor. He plays the family attorney in it.
I saw him.
So
Who
maybe you
also
saw
played
him and
the
you were,
attorney on jury duty.
Yeah, the judge. He played
The
the
judge.
judge on jury duty. So
And he
he's
always
very-
wanted to be in show business. You get in show business.
Yes.
Now he's in show business.
I got a Nepo dad.
And he has a good spot.
That's cool. A reverse.
That's
I've
very
never heard of that.
reverse.
A Nepo, because a Nepo, I understand people get mad at Nepo babies. I don't, by the way. I think they're good a lot of the time.
They're fine.
But Nepo
A necessary
dads,
evil.
everyone can get, everyone can get behind a Nepo dad.
Yeah, let him have fun.
Yeah, what are you going? And by the way, who I think has a shit ton of charisma is Chet Hanks.
Oh my God, that's someone else. Someone says to me, "It's like I can't believe Chet Hanks is such a good actor." I'm like, his dad is Tom Hanks.
That's
Yeah.
top 10 of all time.
The apple ain't going to fall that far from the tree. If he's half as good, he's going to get a couple Oscars.
Come on,
It's like,
exactly.
Even if he only got 3 Oscars, that would be good.
Yeah. I only have 2. Best original score for the Brutalist.
Did you do that
And,
peppy tune?
I did it. That was
The
it. Was I did all
toe-tapper.
my little Casio keyboard.
I saw Ignora last night because I had not seen it.
Again with Ignora.
I loved Ignora. What was
It's
the real
so
name of
good.
it? What's it called?
Nora.
Nora. Okay.
Yeah, I
Pardon
loved
me.
it.
No disrespect, but
Well,
I saw
Ignora
Ignora.
is some disrespect, by the way.
No, I only saw Dune 2 and Conclave of the nominees. How many
Conclave.
have
I
you
love
seen?
both of them. I loved I loved Conclave. I loved Dune 2. I loved
them.
Nora, and I loved The Brutalist, and I think that's all I saw.
Will you watch The Brutalist again?
Never.
Never.
It's it's very
It's the
long.
feel bad movie of the summer.
Yeah, it's really it's brutal. But I really did think it was cool and
Was
interesting.
Dune 2 with the popes?
No, the popes were.
The
they had to
Popes
get
are
a.
conclave.
They had to get a new pope, so they sequester him. Not unlike a jury, they put him all in this big room in the
love
Vatican.
Pope,
Yes.
but don't
And
you
then
think
it's
he's a little
Game of Thrones? He can't be pope. You need to be a little heavier.
Yeah.
You can't have a stick
no
figure as a
anorexia
pope.
popes?
They need to be round.
people want to
Marcy.
Marcy.
Can I ask you a question, Ike? Because you are our guest. Sometimes, one time the guest just clicked out.
Yeah.
I've had enough. You're kind of a movie fan because, well, one thing is you must be. I don't know if your IQ's been
Yeah.
tested, but I saw it. I mean, come on, you've won twice
Look at this shit.
with Jeopardy, $1 million, Celebrity
Heather, he won
Jeopardy,
Jeopardy twice.
Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, or no, wait.
Celebrity Who Wants to Be a
Be a
Millionaire.
Wheel of
millionaire,
Fortune.
another million, played with your dad.
Yes.
And then you win this, one of them, by referring to a obscure quote in Eyes Wide Shut, or a reference in Eyes Wide Shut. Stanley Kubrick.
Yes.
Tell
more or
that
less.
story.
So I went on Celebrity Jeopardy. I won it. I got the trophy right
Did
there.
you go against Mindy?
No, I went against who did I play? I played Jalen Rose.
Shit.
I played Constance Wu. I played Simu Liu. I played Shang-Chi.
Wait a
he's
second. It sounds like it's a
superhero.
little stacked over here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I played. Hold on, someone else.
These are the
blanking
people
on.
you smoked.
Then in the finals for Celebrity Jeopardy, I went up against Patton, who's a real smarty pants. Patton Oswalt.
Oh, Patton
Oh,
Oswalt.
Patton
Yeah.
Oswalt.
He's
Yeah.
a definite
Yeah.
pop culture. and history.
Yeah, he loves that. And then
Yeah.
also Will Wheaton, who
Oh,
you might
yeah,
remember
from Star Trek.
Stand
Of
By Me,
course.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
He still gets
and
Stand
then,
By Me.
He still gets Stand By Me.
Next gen. Okay.
I won that. So then I went back. They invited me on the Tournament of Champions, which I thought was just going to be like
Not to do with celebrities. You're going up
no
against just
celebrities.
They just threw
badass.
you
against
into
a
that?
real.
First
They
time
threw
that
me into
happened.
that.
Whoa.
First time that happened, and it was like a fait accompli that I wasn't going to win, so I was just going to have fun and let these kind of sweet nerds destroy me. And I just kind of by a fluke won the quarterfinal, and the final question was the final Jeopardy category was Roman poets. And I was like, oh shit,
I could nail
I
that.
only know like one or two. And then I read like this, what the quote was. And I just, in my mind, I was kind of weighing them. And I thought of Eyes Wide Shut, because you remember the scene in Eyes Wide Shut where Nicole, they're at the party, they're at
Sidney
Pollock's party.
Yeah.
And Nicole Kidman, that like really creepy European guy, is like, hello, how are you doing? Have you ever read Ovid on the Art of Love? And I was like, oh, Ovid. Maybe it's Ovid. And so I credit Stanley Kubrick.
Oh my God.
How many times had you seen that movie?
Oh,
I've seen.
I watch it with the family. We watch it once a week.
With the kids?
Every Saturday night with the kids, we watch it. We want them to understand that there is a Illuminati out there who are having secret sex
Do
parties.
you have other Kubrick movies that you like? Is it
The Moon Landing?
The Moon Landing.
Moon Landing, the JFK.
He supposedly
really
filmed
good
it,
one.
Dana.
That was Oliver Stone.
Oh, he filmed
the
it?
Moon. I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
You got it.
I have been in a bit of a Barry Lyndon phase. Really, I don't know the last time you've seen it was.
I have not.
I remember seeing it when I was young, and I was like, it's so long. But now when you watch it, it's hilarious. First of all, and it's so beautiful. And Ryan O'Neal really was a really great actor. He was really
I had
good.
the same thing. The standard was so high in the 70s with Kubrick and other movies that I saw it, didn't get it, saw it in the theater. I watched it a year ago by myself, just said, fuck it. I'm going to go revisit it. And the prologue, what was the afterwards? They said, such was life in 16th century France or whatever, and they're all gone now. And then I got the whole thing, and the physical comedy of that dance sequence he did.
Oh my God!
Which he just stepped right up to the tippy toe of winking at us.
Yeah.
But that's a brilliant film. Atmospherically, you are completely submerged.
Oh my God!
Into it, and the cinematography is, So anyway,
and
David,
it's also very sexy. And do you guys mind if we watch a couple hours of it real quick?
We always talk about movies at some point, and I always say, if you can only watch one movie tonight, you had to watch a movie tonight by yourself, Ike. What pops into your head?
God, this is different than my favorite movie, right?
Like, but what would you watch tonight?
Tonight, if I was going to watch something,
you have 5 seconds.
I would watch Idiocracy.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Workplace comedy with Mike Judge, the director.
Mike Judge. I was just watching a little of it on a flight last week, and not drawing any parallels to The President, of course, but it is such a funny movie, and every time I watch it, it gets funnier and funnier.
A lot of people
I would watch
the
Bridge at Remagen, World War II movie from the 70s. That's what I would watch.
What's it called?
The Bridge at Remagen or Remagen. No, I'm kidding. You don't have to watch that. But I
want to do it.
Yeah, he was.
I like The Longest Day. If you like World War II movies,
that is a great movie, The Longest Day.
But if you haven't seen, because God rest his soul, Gene Hackman, if you haven't seen The Firm, you've seen it, right?
Oh yeah. He's great in that.
And that whole movie is fantastic.
That movie is really great. Like for a legal thriller, that's a great movie.
And he's unbelievable.
Is Denzel in that?
No, that's The Pelican Brief. That's his next movie. David, what would you watch? And don't say Tommy Boy. Don't say Tommy Boy. Don't plug the 30th anniversary.
Don't say Opportunity Knocks.
Josie and the Pussycats. All the classics. No, I don't.
Dave's not a movie guy.
When I get on a movie, when I get on a flight, I have to have a TV in the back of that chair. And it just kills time. It's so great. So when I'm on a flight, they have new releases. They have old ones. I always buzz through. I can't tell you the last one I saw, but I will say I don't think they can call Fern Gully a new release on Delta. Just shouting out. Legally, I don't think they can. And I will watch almost anything on a plane because you're stuck. So, God, what did I watch last time? Maybe that Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt.
Oh, Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
That movie
That's a
is
cool
so
I
one.
like that movie. I like science fiction. You
Hey,
got another thumbs up.
hey, Dana, can I tell you something about Opportunity Knocks? I saw that
Sure.
movie opening night,
Love it.
Hmm.
and a kid I went to school with, elementary school, was one of the kids the karate kids who beats you up because
Oh,
you shot
really?
that movie. Yeah, Josh Livingston. I don't know if you remember him.
In Chicago.
In Chicago, yeah. So I saw that movie opening weekend, baby.
I did the best I could. It was a bit of a tussle with creative forces, but this goes full circle to this podcast. So I'm doing the movie in Chicago, and so there's these two dudes playing dude number one, dude number two. Maybe they have a line. They look like they're in their 40s or early 50s. And I'm just talking to them at lunch and whatever. And I didn't know one of them was the infamous improv guy you mentioned earlier, the
Del
godfather
Close.
of improv. So
Yeah.
Del Close,
Oh.
he's moonlighting, getting a check on this,
Love it.
silly romantic comedy. And I didn't know till later I was talking to Del Close. He didn't never kind of go, well, you know what? I kind of started improv in
Actually.
Chicago. No, he was very cool.
And
Yeah.
that checks out because he was always like broke. So he would, whenever they were shooting a movie in town, he would get up,
'Cause he's
the
teaching.
directors would call him. He's teaching, and he was also like, a heroin
Get
addict
it
for a
out,
long
yeah.
time. He didn't have his shit together, so to speak.
Right.
But he was a really fascinating guy, and I learned a lot from him. And yeah, for a guy who I think touched so many people, he wasn't a name dropper around us. He never was like, oh, one time Bill Murray told me.
Yeah.
He was just like very like he was just a
He was
very
cool.
interesting guy. Yeah, cool
Mike
guy.
Myers always would refer to Del Close, just so.
Mike was big on him.
Yeah.
I have
Mike
another.
Myers, who, by the way, is an enemy of the state right now because he's Canadian. So you guys should reach out to him because they're coming after him.
Yeah.
Well, I did Elon Musk for 28 seconds on that show and got a little chatter from him. So now Mike's doing this sort of Monty Python-esque avant-garde version. It's really, really funny. He's running, he's turning, he turns himself off. He's like, but yeah, we'll have him on tomorrow to discuss his.
Yeah, and if you guys could shelter him, that would be nice because
Yeah.
he's going to need help.
We will.
Remember
adopt him.
shelter in place during the pandemic? Shelter in place.
Do you remember the
immediately.
pandemic?
Wherever you are,
do you
shelter.
mean the pandemic?
Yeah.
Guys, can I bring up?
Let's
can
look
I
at a
bring up
clip.
a video of Anthony Fauci that I made? It's a jib jab where he kind of admits
It's
the
a
whole
jib
thing was
jab.
a hoax.
I want to
Fuck,
hear it.
I want to see a jib jab.
You know my Anthony Fauci bit
Let me
that
tell you something.
I know I told you if you had 2 shots. I just do this guy for him. You'd be dancing in the streets. I missed it by a little much. A little bit. Who knew it was a mutating mother? That's why I'm introducing the Daily Shot. Anthony Fauci's Daily Shot. Every single day you go to your healthcare provider. By the time you get to your car, you don't have any immunity, but it's a beautiful 39 seconds.
He does. He's a doctor. He's supposed to be like, have an academic voice, and he sounds like he's trying to sell you like an
Tell
old
you
Pontiac in
something.
New Jersey.
Let me get you in this LeSabre.
From the bottom of my all-new leather Fauci's, go fuck yourself. I just did that for myself. You are a great audience, Ike. People, you must be
God.
fun in the writer's room, and you're a great writer.
I have a serious
honestly,
question for Ike before we get rid of him.
But please.
You were shooting the movie Blockers, which I think I just met your director recently. We had a
Kay Cannon.
super cool guy. He's also
she's
friends
the
with Theo.
Wait, Kay Cannon directed Blockers.
Oh, maybe
That's a lady.
he wrote it. Is it, or
Whoops.
did you write it?
Oh, there were. Oh, yeah. No, there were other writers. There was.
Okay, it was one of the 40 people. That wrote it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
he's friends with Theo, pretending to be part of the film Blockers, and he was on the set. And but it says because I have a bad neck, and you fucking did a stunt. You hurt your.
Oh yeah. Fuck
God,
that.
that's the worst on a movie too.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
What dick joke were you doing where you fell?
It was I was trying to suck my own dick. It was an improv that I threw in there.
Guys, let me one take. Keep the cameras going.
Yeah,
It
was
happens.
the last take of the thing. No, it was right when it happened. You kind of don't even realize what's happening until before you know it. You have a doctor being like, "Hey, you fucked up your neck."
Oh,
And so I was really bummed, but luckily, like I really took the I took like the rehab of it all really seriously. The worst part about hurting your neck, besides the fact that you could possibly be paralyzed, is you have to wear a neck brace, which we can all agree
did do that?
is an inherently comic thing. Like when you see people in a neck brace, you're thinking like Christopher on The Sopranos or like John Larroquette on Night Court. It's like a funny, it's a funny bit because most of the times it's like 9 times out of 10 when someone's wearing a neck brace, they were rear-ended. But this one, it was a more involved one that was like had braces and buckles and stuff.
Oh no!
And yeah, that was rough. That was really rough because like I would see friends of mine and people on the street too who I don't even know them would walk up to me like, "Oh my God, what happened?"
They feel for you,
and like they feel for you, which is nice. But you're also like, I don't want to.
Can't tell this fucking story.
I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
You can tell us though.
So. Yeah, so no, it was a bummer, but it really every morning I would wake up and they were like, you gotta correct your posture, which is basically if you shrug your shoulders and put your arms up and then drop your arms, that feels crazy, right? But that means that's your proper posture. Okay. So I would strap that brace on and put on like a giant sun hat and just like walk up and down my block for as long until my legs gave out, basically. I was committed to fixing it without surgery, trying to hold it. So, and I didn't have to have surgery. And now watch this. Ready for this?
Oh, that's good. That's more than I can do.
I can do the full Brady Bunch mobility.
Yeah.
Can you crack your back just by yourself standing up like this?
I could crack my sternum a little bit.
Okay.
But I read about a crazy person on TikTok that said you shouldn't be cracking and popping.
Have you seen those chiropractors on TikTok? Damn. But most of the time the people fart on the ones I get, but those are funny too.
Well, I get ones for dogs where it'll be like a guy who
I don't like it.
Like 140-pound pit bull, and he's like, and you hear like a bomb go off, and the dog is like,
oh, dogs are not used to getting cracked. It's so weird.
And then the dog's happy though and runs away smiling. Is that because I saw one of those?
They don't know if they're happy.
I think that there's an owner holding a piece of bacon.
Yeah, they don't
camera.
know.
I don't buy it.
I saw him do it to a gerbil. He's like this, and the gerbil's like, "I was fine." By the way, who's complaining?
I did it to a red ant. I was like,
"Can you cut him in half accidentally?"
And the ant was like,
"He's like, it's more my thorax."
Luckily, I can regenerate.
It's more my thorax. Well, a gentleman joins us here today, Mr. Ike Barinholtz. She's made quite a splash on the Mindy Project. Plays a character named Morgan Tookers. Is that funny, Ed? Morgan Tookers, male nurse. Oh, please welcome down. So I wanted to mention that because 5 years on the Mindy Project. Tell us about Morgan Tookers, because we're going to get letters.
Yeah. Why didn't you ask?
We're going to get letters.
We haven't even have we had Mindy on, Dana? We should have Mindy on.
Love to have her on.
She would do this in a second.
She's very fun.
She loves
you guys.
She's like me, big SNL fan.
Let's book Mindy.
She doesn't even have to talk
possible.
About us now. We won't put her.
But if you could do it as Johnny Carson, that'd be amazing.
Well, let me do this for you. This is what I do now for friends.
Yeah,
Johnny Carson gets pulled over for drunk driving, 1972.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, officer. I didn't know I was swerving. I had 2 slippery monkeys at the Hook and Crook.
Yes.
Slippery monkeys at the Hook and Crook.
Yes.
Sorry, I had a tomato strawberry boom boom at the Windy Summit. I just like the drinks and the location at the Windy Summit. I had a double daiquiri up with a twist at the Rusty Nail.
Copper Penny is by Warner Brothers. He would have gone to that one.
All right, so
and the Rusty Nail.
And the Rusty Nail. And or the Desperate Pillow is another good watering hole. The Desperate Pillow. But anyway, so those 5 years was big for you,
it was
right?
And it was so much fun. It was such a fun job. We had, such a fun cast and writers. It's like when a lot of my children were born while we were doing the show. And now it's so crazy. Now they're watching it. It's on Netflix, or it was on Netflix. And now they're watching it. And it's really sweet because you do stuff like, and you just kind of don't rewatch it for a long time, and then it comes back to you one day with your kids, and they get to see me.
That's fun, though.
Like farting so hard that my pants fall down. And stuff.
So, how old are the kids again?
6, 9, and 12.
6, 9, 12.
Okay, so they're still in the world of innocence and magic. Except
and
they have social media, but still, they're like
they do. But we don't. I really am like, you're gonna watch like SNL and Wayne's World and Tommy Boy and the things that I loved, because at some point they're gonna go online and watch some idiot online. So, and as long as they're in my house,
Before they like the pranksters on TikTok, you have to give them some baseline.
Hey, if I was running for president, I would sadly have to execute all TikTok pranksters.
I do not like pranksters.
Or you're put in a gulag, like because they're not even like clever pranks, man. It'll be like a guy, like an older man in a Home Depot, like trying to get like a bag of mulch. And they walk up behind him and like give him a wet willy, and the guy's like, "What the fuck?" And then they run away, and I'm like,
or they hit him with a ball in the head, and then they both look around like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Beat that guy's ass."
Too. I got hit too, and it's like you guys are now going to break rocks for 5 years.
Yeah,
please. Let's see some pranks about that.
I've seen when pranks go bad. I should send you one, Ike. It's Instagram where it goes wrong, and they get the shit kicked out of them. It's great.
David, I have seen those, and it's mother's milk to me, where a guy just starts wailing.
Yeah, and he's like, it's a prank.
It's a prank.
Who cares if it's a prank?
Yeah, I've seen those too.
Why would I be like, oh, you're not Candid Camera. You're some asshole.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you were disrupting my life for internet.
For your own
I'm going to stop
fame,
punching you in the face.
Don't get me going, Ike.
Ike, now I have to say, were you named after Dwight D. Eisenhower, whose nickname was Ike? I'm sure you've been asked this a billion times, but Ike is a very my name's a little unusual.
This one's for the fans. I've never discussed this before.
He's never been asked.
I will never discuss it again after this. It's very private, but I will tell you. No, my real name is Isaac, and yeah, I know.
There we go.
It's a Jewish bummer. But I had a teacher, my favorite teacher, a guy named Kehoe, Mr. Kehoe, and he started kind of calling me Ike, and that's really when I kind of became Ike. And
Ike's kind of cool
because it's very rare.
Nice. It's rare, and most Ikes I think are good. Ike Eisenhower was an amazing
Ike
president.
Turner was
really, really good.
Okay.
Ike Turner's the rough one, but you also have Ike Austin was the center for the Miami Heat, was very good. He was a good Ike Turner early on had a vision.
Yeah.
And I think we can all agree he made some very bad decisions.
Yeah.
But and I don't like him. I think he's a bad guy.
Good job. On the record with that.
On the record, I want to just end the controversy.
Okay, it's 12:23 Pacific Standard Time, and
the
Ike
controversy.
Ike Turner gets
he votes
Ike
no.
Barinholtz thumbs down.
Come on, Zoom, put that thumb.
Come on, let's do it.
It doesn't do it when you really do it. Look at I got rain. Dana, look at that.
Wow.
Heather, did you see that?
We don't know how it happens. It's just random. I can't.
He has a special Zoom app.
Yeah, you know, it's Spade
a
World.
little more, but it's worth it. All right, Ike. Anything else, Dana?
Are there any final thoughts you want to do? Because what the Scared Straight Show or Standing Running? What is
Standing
it called?
Room Only.
It's called Standing Room Only.
It says it right on top of it.
No,
that was fast.
It is. And I always hate when shows tee themselves up for critics to slam it.
Yeah.
You know, running point is more like whatever.
Yeah.
Running away. You're like
Happy Times was anything but
Bad Moms, more like bad movie.
Yeah, that's really
like,
clever.
Hey, come
I
on.
think they're so excited.
Don't
that
go
they
for
came up
that.
with such a delicious pun.
Delicious.
Delicious.
No, I just gotta say, when I first heard your guys' podcast, I was listened to it. I was so excited being on this show. So much fun. You guys have made me laugh so much over the years.
Thank you.
It's really
buddy.
it's wild. It's wild.
I'm putting you in the Hall of Fame of guests.
Yeah, good
only
laughs,
because you were so
lot of
lively,
fun.
so much energy. You laughed at our jokes.
Yeah.
So hey, can I say, suck it, Thoreau?
Yeah, Thoreau.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Thoreau's
always
gotta
in the
come
Hall
back
of Fame,
and try
man.
to beat you.
Yeah. Well, let's have a little competition. Make it healthy.
And you're
Make it
smart.
interesting.
No one knew that. That's great.
No, I present very dumb.
Won $2 million for charities on. And
Oh,
as
you
a
gave it
writer,
to charity.
correct.
Wah, wah.
What are you gonna
I always
keep?
like a
It's a
portion
foundation
goes.
I've started. I've started a foundation that I wet my beak a little bit.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
wet my
Don't worry
beak a
about
little
that.
bit. Yeah. Wet
I'll
the
take a
beak.
taste. I won't take all of it. I'll wet my beak a little
Get a
bit.
little
Don't worry.
taste.
Some went to some kids. Some went to some poor people. Some went to my boat.
Yeah. Something for the effort.
I wet my beak is a great figure of speech. That's got to be it. We got to do a Sopranos remake, man. That is a
my
fucking
God.
brilliant thing.
That's
so.
the best. That's the
All
best.
right,
Yeah.
boss. Appreciate it. Look for Running Point.
Running Point. You guys are amazing.
Running Point. Netflix right now.
Peace out.
Please have me back.
Yeah. Peace out.
This has been a presentation of Audacy. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all the stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Audacy, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman.